Hello Tokusatsu community and welcome back to Toku Topics. We got a lot of stuff going on in the world of Tokusatsu this week. Not only do we have more information about Avataro Sentai Donbrothers for 2022, we have some new forms for Kamen Revice I want to talk about, and we have some brand new pictures of some brand new Power Rangers Dino Fury toys for Season 2 that are probably not going to make a lot of people happy. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Sentai before we move over to Kamen Rider and then finish this off with Power Rangers. So, Donbrothers. We did a whole video about this, my initial reaction to it when all the pictures dropped this past Tuesday, so be sure to check that out if you'd like to see my live reaction, completely right there for the very first time ever seeing the suits. I got it on camera, so that was a lot of fun. But we have a lot of information about the show now that we've actually had the official reveal of it, and the Telebikun scans and stuff for the month are coming out, which is gonna give us more information and of course backing up essentially every single leak we had heard about this. So if people were still skeptical about the leaks of this being a Zenkaiger follow-up or sort of a sequel or having big connections to the current show, it's definitely happening here. So, first of all, let's talk about the suits in more detail here, because we actually have better pictures of them that are not just on that initial poster that we talked about on Tuesday, so we can actually get a look at all of their suits individually here. And this is a wacky bunch of a Sentai. So, of course, we have Don Momotaro. He has the whole peach motif going on here. We got the best look at his suit thanks to the original poster, and also him riding Akira style on the Enya ride-on bike, which we're also going to talk about in a little bit here, because the leaks were also correct for that. But taking a look at the rest of the characters here, they all kind of have sort of a Q Ranger kind of thing, where there's something different about each of their suits. So we have Saru Brother, who is our Blue Ranger here, who is our gorilla-themed Ranger. So lots of Ginga Blue, Blue Buster, and even Okami Blue vibes there, because not only does he have the fur on his arms, like Okami Blue does in Q Ranger, he also kind of has a helmet that looks a lot like sort of a mixture of Ginga Blue's helmets, and I've seen a lot of people point out Juo Gorilla. I definitely get those kind of vibes from him as well. And overall, I think it looks pretty cool. It's not as typical of a Sentai suit as Don Momotaro is, but it's just a little different. And Oni's sister here is our only female on the team, and that might surprise you because it's not the Pink Ranger, it's actually the Yellow Ranger of the team here. We can see a little bit of her skirt on there, and we've seen from the leaks and the rumors and stuff that she's going to have a pretty pivotal role in the show, possibly some kind of connections to the villains as well, if those rumors end up panning out to be true. We don't really see a lot about her suit. They kind of point out as that herd difference is the little horns that she has going on here, because she's kind of sort of demon based, they all kind of are in a way, so it's interesting to see, and I like our trio of regular, quote-unquote regular suits, which is where we get to our not-so-regular suits with our Pink and Black Rangers. So we'll start with the least weird, I suppose, of the two, and that is Inu Brother, kind of our dog-themed Black Ranger, which we saw before is a really tiny one, looks like some kind of Funko Pop. I get a lot of the, there's this figure that came out, I think it was in a Loot Crate, with Alpha 5. It was this lanky kind of small little Alpha 5 black and gold thing that came with an ice cream cone with Power Rangers colors. I have it somewhere in my room. I get a lot of vibes of that from this, so it looks a lot like that. Or some kind of not exactly Funko Pop, but almost kind of like those Tokyo vinyls that they did for Megazords for a number of years and such like that. Definitely kind of get those kind of vibes from it, and I kind of dig it the more I see it here. Same thing with definitely the weirdest one here, and that is our Kiji Brother, our Pink Ranger, who is this giant lanky dude here. So definitely giving me some Mobile Morph Green Ranger vibes or Shin Ultraman vibes of just kind of standing there all like this. And it's weird. He has these giant wings, and I did say he, because this is a male Pink Ranger, which is crazy. And we've had male Pink Rangers before in the Power Rangers comics. We've had them in Tokuger, kind of, with the whole transfer changes and stuff. Sometimes we got male Pink Rangers out of that, and of course Gokaiger with the Ranger Key Gokai changes and everything. But this is our first time we've had in Sentai, a pink male Ranger to start with right off the bat. And I like it. I like that kind of change here. So really cool that we kind of get these better looks at the team here, and you can see on this graphic as well, Zenkaiger and Don Momotaro, they're tight. they're buddies up there. They're getting ready to hand off the powers or the baton or whatever. So if you're wondering about how this is going to work here, so Don Momotaro is actually, just like the rumors had said, going to be a main character in Zenkaiger starting in the next episode. Not the one that's going to air this weekend, but the next episode after this upcoming one. So we're about to get episode 41 airing this weekend. Then they're taking off a week for New Year's. So on the January 9th episode of Zenkaiger, which will be episode 42, that will be the debut of Don Momotaro, who will stick around on Zenkaiger until the end of the show before, taking over his own show. But he will be bringing Zenkaiser and Zenkaijuron over with him to guest star, or at least, I don't really think it's guest starring. It's going to be actually part of the cast. Kaito and Juron are going to become main characters essentially on the next show, which is really, really cool. So now that we know when this is all going to show up, let's go ahead and talk about all of the gear that this team has, and of course, their new gears. So let's go ahead and start with the Enya Rhydon. We got to see this the other day in the initial reveal of everything, and we had already heard from the rumors and the leaks that it was going to be able to combine with Zenkaijuron, and we saw that very clearly. It has a Sentai gear on it, number 46 for Don Momotaro or Donbrothers. So that's going to be, it actually looks like that is going to be the Sentai gear for Donbrothers, because it looks like we know the Avataro gears are going to be a little different. And we knew that going into this, and we get to finally see some Avataro gears, which we'll get to in a minute. But we also got to see from the back of the bike that there was one of those half pieces, that become part of the V on the Zenkaio chest. We thought we could see that there. But now we have this graphic, this poster here that actually shows us what it's going to be called Don Zenkaio, which will be the combination of the Enya Rhydon and Zenkaijuron. So we don't have a full body shot of it just yet, but we have it in the background here of this poster for Zenkaiger's episodes featuring the Donbrothers stuff. And I like it. It's definitely an interesting combination. I don't think it's going to be a Donbrothers initial combo thing. I think it's gonna be it makes me think of a very late in the game Sentai combination, which we got back in Juoger with Juo Keen Octopus. Kind of makes me think of that kind of last minute combination thing here. We also get to see, thanks to cardboard cutouts in this month's Telebikun, a better look at the Don Blaster and the Avataro gears. So we know that the Don Blaster is the changer, a very similar kind of thing to the Gear Cleaner. And we can see here that it looks like, the gears kind of just sit on the side instead of going in a top flap or anything like that. And this is where we get to get a better look at the Don Momotaro Avataro gear, which basically seems to have the same kind of outline shape as the one that's on the actual Enya Rhydon, which is much more Sentai gear-esque. But this one here is going to be what Avataro gears are going to look like. They're not going to have numbers. They're not going to have chrome kind of etched on patterns. It looks like almost basically a sticker on top of them. And I'm going to just be honest here, I'm not really digging it. So I really, really liked the Sentai gears. I loved the look at them. I loved collecting them all year. And I'm going to be getting the Don Blaster 100% because of the fact that it has been confirmed, basically, that the Don Blaster will be able to read the Sentai gears that came out this year. So it makes sense to continue to buy this kind of stuff. But going all in on the Avataro gears, to me, this makes it, they look like the Ninja Power Stars from Power Rangers Ninja Steel, where they were just very cheap versions of the Sentai gimmick that didn't even have any molding detail. They just had a sticker on there. That's what they look like to me, genuinely. And I don't know exactly how the toys are going to look. We have yet to see that yet, although they have been teasing that the toy pictures are going to be here soon, which will probably warrant another video when that does happen. But yeah, I don't know. We've seen the one here for Don Momotaro. We also see it for Inu Brother as well. And we'll see how they do. I want to see what their functions are and such like that. But I am going to more than likely have to buy the Enya Rhydon. Not only because I have a deluxe Zenkaijuron that I can combine it with, but I believe that's how we will be able to get the Donbrothers Sentai gear, which I do believe is supposed to be compatible with the Gear Cleaner, and I think will unlock the New Hero number 2 sound, if I'm not mistaken. That sounds right to me. So we'll just wait and see for that to be confirmed, but I think that is what's happening with that there. And we don't have a lot else to talk about Donbrothers here. We have a little bit of more information about the staff of the show. So we know that the writer of the show is going to be Toshihiki Inoue, which is a big Tokusatsu veteran here, who has not been the main writer of a Sentai since Jetman, but he wrote a lot of G-Ranger episodes. I think his last Sentai credit, if I remember correctly from Ranger Wiki, was the Jetman tribute of Gokaiger, so I guess that's pretty fitting. And it's going to be directed by Toshiaki Ryuta, who is another veteran of Sentai and even Power Rangers episodes in terms of directing. I believe he's been directing episodes of Zenkaiger as well, so kind of keeping it within the same kind of wheelhouse of people behind the staff there. And we know that Donbrothers is going to be premiering in the first weekend of March of 2022, after Zenkaiger wraps up at the end of February, which I believe puts it at 49 episodes by the time Zenkaiger will be over. And yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. It's a pretty standard end of Sentai, beginning of the next kind of pattern here. And that's all we really got on Donbrothers, but definitely interesting. Not as crazy and out there as like Zenkaiger was initially, but it still kind of keeps that sort of crazy levelness and stuff like that. And so far I'm here for it in certain aspects, and I'm not here for it in some others. But I will be getting the Change Hero series figures of them. I cannot wait to see what Zenkaiger Black looks like. I'll get the Anya Rhydon and the Dawn Blaster, and we'll just go from there. So switching gears over to Kamen Rider for a little bit, and I mean a little bit, we really don't have a lot to talk about with Kamen Rider Revice, but first of all, I'm still loving this show. This show has been a lot of fun. I just watched episode 15 last night, and I really like where it's going, and I cannot wait to see what happens with it. But we have our next upgrade for both Kamen Rider Revice and the first actual upgrade for Kamen Rider Vice, which first of all, spoilers for Revice, I guess. Well, the actual forms themselves are spoilers, but one of my favorite things that has happened in Revice so far is when Rex debuted a couple episodes ago for Revice, and Vice was like, oh cool, where's my power-up? And George said he didn't get one yet because he made fun of his initial design for the Jackal genome, the X-Aid one, so he was going to make sure that his power-up took some more time, which is really funny to me. And we can see now here, Vice will finally get Rex. So what they're doing is they're giving Revice an actual new form, and then they're giving Vice his counterpart to Revice's most recent power-up, which is hilarious to me that they're going to do it this way. And it kind of looks like the Borrowed Rex armor might fly off of Revice and then become the armor for Vice. He still has that shield and everything that he super glued together in the episode. So that seems to be what they're doing with this. We already kind of knew that an upgrade was going to be coming for Borrowed Rex's Vice stamp, because there was this huge gap in the side of the Vice stamp, and if you know Tokusatsu gimmicks and there's a huge gap on the side or somewhere, something's going to plug into that. We saw it on the 01 driver, the build driver, all that kind of stuff. And this is our gap. This is our gap filler. It is the Volcano Vice stamp, which if you haven't noticed already, it's an egg timer. So it's an egg timer that clips into the egg Vice stamp, or Borrowed Rex Vice stamp, which, okay, interesting, definitely. So we can see here the new form for Kamen Rider Revice, which is Volcano Rex. So it's just kind of my first initial reaction to it, to be honest. I like Borrowed Rex a lot better than this. I do like that it changes up at least a little bit the typical blue, teal, pinkish colors we've been getting with every single Revice form. I liked that kind of general consistent design aesthetic, but it was getting a little old, and Borrowed Rex kind of broke it up a little bit. This definitely does, without all that yellow in there. I don't know, I get a lot of Meteor Storm and Beast Hyper vibes from this, and those are not my favorite forms either. So I have to see it in action, but I will say the full body shot of it made me like it a little bit more, but we'll just kind of see where it goes. I know a lot of people are saying this is kind of like his Elemental Dragon sort of thing, in terms of people not liking it as much as what came before. And I'm in that same kind of ballpark. I preferred Primitive Dragon over Elemental Dragon last year in Saber, and I, so far, prefer Borrowed Rex more than I prefer Volcano Rex. But hey, it looks good on Vice, the Borrowed Rex armor, because I thought it looked good on Revice. It looks good on him. So yeah, definitely interesting there. But that's kind of our main new power-ups here. We have information about the upcoming Revice Hyper Battle DVD that's going to be coming out here. So we already got a silhouette teaser of this a month ago, and now we finally get to see what the form is going to be and what the stamp is going to be. So it's going to be the Kangaroo Vice stamp, which is a Hyper Battle DVD classic. We saw it with O's, we saw it with 01. For whatever reason, they just like locking Kangaroo gimmicks into Hyper Battle DVDs for whatever reason. But Kangaroo is going to be given to Kamen Rider Build, which, hey, that's great. I love Build so much, and I love this new genome. But the stamp has nothing to do with Build's color scheme at all. It's like this. It basically looks like a repaint, or not a repaint, but it looks like the same kind of color scheme as the Jackal stamp. So I don't really like the stamp, but the form, pretty great. So we can see here the kangaroo-ness that they have here, which, yeah, that's a word I just said. But you have the kangaroo design here with the Build design, and just like how the Jackal one turns Vice into a skateboard, this one turns him into something ridiculous as well. He becomes a little plush Joey, basically, in the pouch of the kangaroo, which, yep, perfect. I love it. It's so good. And it's a perfect, premium Bandai thing that they're probably going to sell. They're probably going to sell a little Build-themed Vice plush or something. I mean, that's a prime candidate for that, right? So, good on them. They nailed it with that one, and I like the Build design aesthetics that we have going on here for Kangaroo here. So, hopefully we get to see it in the show. We never usually do for Hyper Battle DVD stuff, and it's kind of unfortunate that one of my favorite Rider series has been delegated to the Hyper Battle DVD form exclusive thing. But it was bound to happen with one of these shows at some point, right? At least we have another stamp for another main rider. And then to wrap it up here for today, we have Power Rangers Dino Fury toys that were found by @RangerSelect on Twitter. So I don't know where these pictures came from, but it's our first wave of basic figures for the Season 2 toy line. And some of this, exactly what we would expect. Others, no, not at all. So first of all, I want to give some clarification about the Dino Knight Morpher. We talked about this in a video a couple of weeks ago when Martian Ranger found this, and we were not sure if it could read the Dino Fury keys from the other stuff, from the other figures and everything. However, there's actually a product description for this now that Martian Ranger had posted, and it does say that it can. So I don't exactly know how it's going to work with it, but it does apparently take the keys, just like the Resoldier version of it did. So that's great to hear. I think the keys are garbage for the Dino Fury toy line, but hey, at least it can still interact with them. And it said that the different like elemental powers that it has that we saw, the different sound effects, are going to be based off of like the direction that you're facing the Morpher. So kind of like what the Dino Fury Morpher did, where you just kind of wiggle it all over the place and it makes noises. So you're going to be able to do that again in some capacity there. And speaking of the Dino Knight mode, we finally are going to get a basic figure for Max Russo Red's gorgeous, gorgeous suit. I've wanted a figure of this form for 2 years, and we're finally getting it. So I love it so much. I mean, it was super predictable that we were going to get a figure for this. There was no way they were going to skip it, and I'm glad they aren't here. So it comes with exactly what you'd think it would. Not a new key. It does look to be the same key, I think, as the one from the original Red Ranger figure. There might be something slightly different on it. I'm not buying these for the keys. I'm buying them for the actual figures, and they nailed it. It looks great. The paint detail is fantastic. The sculpting looks accurate. The Max Russo changer doesn't have, or the Dino Knight changer, does not have as much paint and stuff on it, obviously, but it's molded nicely, and it comes with everything I would have expected him to come with. No problems there. However, so we know that the basic figure waves have multiple figures, obviously, typically 4. Now, I talked about for a long time that there were these listings for the first 4 basic figures of 2022, and this is 3 of them, so I still think we are missing 1 figure that hasn't been found yet, which I believe is going to be a villain of some kind, whether that's a henchman, or Lord Zed, or, I don't know, Mucus or something. I do think we're missing a figure, which maybe we're not, maybe we are. But, oh boy, okay. I don't know what they're thinking with this. So, if you remember, I did a video back in July. It was after the July 2nd Fan First Friday that confirmed that the Dino Fury Green and Black Rangers were first going to get figure releases in the Amazon exclusive Dino Fury Team Pack, which you can still get right now for like $50 whatever dollars, and was the only way to get the basic figures of Green and Black. You could not get them in the main toy line, and also their Chroma Fury sabers were locked in for all of them in this team pack as well. People freaked out, understandably so, because people already had red, blue, and pink, and they didn't want to have to either rebuy those figures or lock 2 members of the core team into a $50 Amazon exclusive 5-pack. But Hasbro's like, guys, I did this whole video about it, right? And I'm like, hopefully they don't actually do that. We have figures coming. Hopefully they'll come in 2022. And not long after that video, it was clarified, thanks to Hassan Ahmed, who reached out to Hasbro and everything, that they were going to be releasing the Black and Green Rangers standalone in 2022. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're perfect shoo-ins for the first wave of basic figures, right? Well, yeah, they're here, but they're not the basic original versions of them. They are with the boost key armors on them, which, cool in one way for new figures, but not cool for the people who actually wanted the original regular Black and Green Ranger figures, because that's what people wanted. They didn't want to have to buy the 5-pack, and right now, you still have to buy the 5-pack because this armor does not look like it can come off. It actually has different molding on the joints and the arms and everything. It's not going to be the same kind of figure here. But we see with the Black Ranger, you're going to get the shield sleeve, and with the Green Ranger, you're going to get the sprint sleeve. So I think that that's their... They all kind of have like main ones that they use in Resoldier and in Dino Fury. And I really did not think we were going to dive into this. I thought that those were going to be kind of saved exclusively for those battle attackers, because we've been seeing them in all the battle attacker rangers that we've been getting. And I figured that's kind of how that would be, you know, the thing for how we were going to get figures of that. But no, alas, we have it here. At least they actually have their Chroma Fury sabers, which are the same ones from the Amazon 5-pack, and I do believe their keys are the same as the ones from the Amazon 5-pack as well, so you at least get their keys. But this is not what people wanted. And also, it's just weird because, like, cool that we're going to get 2 of the sleeves, but, like, I don't think we're going to get the other 3. Unless they release the other 3 in the line again, which I guess they could, because, I mean, you would think that there's going to be, like, at least a second wave of figures, right? I don't know, man. The basic figures for the Dino Fury line, well, really basic figures for the Power Rangers line, really took a nosedive. Beast Morphers killed it. I loved Beast Morphers' basic figure line a lot. I loved that they scaled with Lightning Collection. They still scale with Lightning Collections, so they're still good figures. But the Beast Morpher selection was fantastic for the first couple of waves. Then in Season 2, it got a little less, comprehensive. It had some stuff that we could have and should have gotten. Dino 3 wasn't doing too bad. We got, the core team somehow. But then you had Gold, who had incorrect morpher details and such, and they just kind of phoned him in. Void Knight's figure, that was fantastic. I really liked that one. The Dino Knight one looks great. I can't wait to get that one. But, honestly, a little part of me was hoping that these were just going to be regular black and green figures, and if they were, I was probably going to skip them, because I already have them from the 5-pack, because I bought the 5-pack. But now I gotta get these ones, because I collect all the basic figures, and these are going to be different, so... Just like that Showdown pack with the Fire Red armor, which I'm okay with that being locked in a 2-pack like that. I'm going to get a duplicate Void Knight, but I'm just going to turn that into Russell Brown. So it's like, that one I can kind of justify, but this is just not what people wanted. So I feel bad for those who did not get the Amazon 5-pack, because it does seem like you're still going to need to do so to get the regular basic versions of 2 of the core members of the team. So I don't really know what they were thinking here. I wish they would have just released them the way that they were always supposed to have been. Lock these in the 5-pack, right? Or, do a 5-pack of the sprint sleeves or the different sleeves. Like, you don't lock core members of a team in a 5-pack. You just don't do that. That's not how these toy lines are supposed to work for the basic line. You do that kind of crap in the Lightning Collection, sure. I mean, it's not fun there either, but like, this is the basic kids toy line. And kids are going to want the black and green Rangers, and maybe they won't care that the sleeves aren't, that they have sleeves and the other ones don't. I don't know. It's just a thing that I just did not expect them to do it this way, and I know that people are not going to be happy about it. They look good, though. I will give them that, and I will be buying them, but... Wow, Hasbro, what are you doing with this toy line? What are you doing? Alright, and guys, I think that's really all I got to talk about here for today. Lots of really cool stuff going on for Donbrothers and Revice, and even Dino Fury, regardless of the figure problem there. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below on literally any of this, of course. We should be getting more Donbrothers toy pictures, I think. That should be the next thing that happens. So I'm sure I'm probably going to do a video on that, and then I'm waiting for HLJ to put the stuff up so I can go ahead and pre-order it. I know Toku Collectibles already has it, but I'm going to go with HLJ this time around. So yeah, I can't wait to get it, and I think we have a fun year of stuff coming out here. Lots of stuff I need to buy, because, I'm going to get these, pretty much every Dino Fury toy I talked about today I'm going to buy, and, I talked about some of the Donbrothers stuff, and Revice I'm collecting very sparingly, so I just can't afford it all. So, yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys are going to get, what you think of any of this stuff. Were you hoping that these were not going to be any special versions of green and black? They were just going to be regular? Do you like the new Revice forms? How do you think about the Donbrothers suits and the, the writing and directing staff? Or anything you guys have to say. So, that's all I got. Until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LividRangerKey or LightningFigPR, and I'll see you all later.